Boom, one game away of just playing one last series to go into Genting. And Talon on the back foot now. Again, a great rematch between two great teams that had a spectacular run in the DPC. And it's looking a lot better for Boom. I mean, again, game one just looked so much stronger for them. And this is them coming out from visa application. It just feels like they're so much more revitalized off of these appointments.
I just love how every time we get John's like, guys, remember, there was a visa application. That is a big deal. But yeah, they do have a big effect on them in Stockholm. So Boom Esports, yeah, you can see that their spirits are really high. They're just kind of playing crazy. You know, they're not scared. Whereas I feel like Talon are very careful in their games. But they are going to be a little bit more active in this game because they have Makoto on their spirit. Not as much downtime as like a Pangolier, you know, where it's like, you gotta wait for the Rolling Thunder. Then you kind of get online a little bit more after you have the Blink Dagger. So it takes a little bit of time. Ember Spirit should be able to make a little bit more space than that.
Definitely. It feels like Mikado should be able to take the reins here, but again, he's laning up against Yopaj, right? Like, it's still Yopaj Kunkka, and Yopaj Kunkka up against Ember. We've seen that multiple times before. Yopaj knows what to do against that matchup. He can definitely work it in his favor. Do you see that lane being a little bit more even, or do you feel like, considering the circumstances, Yopaj might just be on a roll here?
I think he'll be on the roll. What I'm interested in is the lane swap. Looks like they're thinking of putting KP bottom and 23 Savage top. They kind of don't want this to put the Timbersaw against the Terrorblade. They know the Timbersaw's burst damage is insane, and they do not want to put him at that risk. And yeah, FBZ, we'll see if they decide to swap lanes as well. They're like, yeah, we don't care. We'll put FBZ bottom against the Necrophos. It doesn't really bother us in any way.
Yeah, it still feels like something FBZ should be able to manage. The magic damage is going to be annoying, but you do have eventually a heal coming through from Scam to help sustain through that somewhat. And we'll see how much Scam and FBZ can get done. They are, of course, laning up against Q, and as mentioned, the lane swap with KP. Are there any timings we expect here? Is this something that gets a little bit more aggressive for Talon, or maybe a little bit better for Boom? As they get the toss back with a Dispose onto Skem, doing a lot more damage here. Skem did opt for level 1 Impetus, so Q's not trading unfavorably, but is there any major spikes in this lane to watch out for?
I think with the eyes will be on FBZ. Like we see how Timbersaw can do just an insane amount of burst damage as he levels up. So maybe around level, once he has a point in the Whirling Death and Timber Chain, that's probably what going to be level maybe 3, level 4. Around that point, that's when we want to keep our eyes on FBZ. Until then, we might see level 2 with the rebound as well as the dispose on the Marcy. That could get a kill on someone as well. So level 2 Marcy, level 4 on the Timbersaw. Those are sort of the very lane power spikes we could see.
We'll see who does manage to build up there. Mikado already dropping low on that mids while trading with Yopaj. Is keeping up in CS, but Yopaj just leveraging that Tidebringer really well. Managing to drop Mikado all the way down to just one Tango and the Fairy Fire left. So we are seeing that Yopaj Kunkka kick into gear. As mentioned, does this lane get any easier for Mikado? Or again, does it just go back to what you said, Yopaj is just feeling it?
Yopaj is just feeling it, man. And the Tidebringer gets more and more dangerous. Yeah, you might be able to try to dodge it with Slide of Fist, but the cooldown is just so low on Tidebringer. It goes down to what, 7-4 seconds, and its life just cannot keep up. And Mikado, he's suffering because of this. Yeah, and it's just not going to get easier for him.
Yeah, it's a tough time. He's still keeping up in CS, but the HP trade is not going his way. We'll see if some relief comes out from Mikado down the line up top. Being aggressive onto Jackie with a static link. They do manage to run him down a bit, but not look for that kill down. Bot also just getting a little bit of a back and forth. Nothing too dangerous yet.
Q used the rebound, but could not get the dispose off before FBZ threw the Timber Chain, which means that FBZ was able to make that alive.
And Earth's Impale was out, is dropping low, so is Savage. So there's aggression down bot, but the aggression up top is much more concerning. Talon not having a great time with Savage in his lane at all. Jackie managing to get a little bit more in that farm, and Tim's just being a lot more aggressive with his Nyx and Razor combination. Just static link plus Impale. Is this something that Talon can relieve? I mean, if you go off to a slow start for Savage, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a fun game for them.
It's okay. I mean, we know the Terrorblade can farm in the jungle very effectively, so it's not too bad. As long as Terrorblade's not dying, he's not falling too far behind, you're generally okay with it. I mean, Razor only got 1 CS more than him, so it's not a big deal. Just a little bit more harassed than they expected.
Yeah, they do have a lot of good magic damage coming out. Jackie does opt for the Plasma Field to be leveled up to 2.
Yopaj?
3, although Yopaj Looking for that opportunity. Does get the X off onto Mikado. The Torrent doesn't quite connect, but the Tidebringer does. Still Q coming in. Rebound up. Can he get the dispose? He does onto Yopaj. Chains out for Mikado. Sleight of Fist at the ready. Skem trying to help, but Mikado does find a first blood. Great rotation out from Q. And that is the relief we were looking for this mid.
Yeah, I mean, it came, you know, Yopaj tried really hard with this one, with that one. What the hell am I saying? But it was just a great rotation by Q. And we were saying, like, this is going to be a tough lane for Mikoto, but thanks to the support rotation, they were able to get the kill. Yopaj, a little overconfident there. Kind of feels like it's one of those situations where if he keeps his health high, he shouldn't be falling. Just more dangerous for Mikoto. And Mikoto's getting close to that level 6, and that could be a problem for them. If he goes to the bottom lane, he gets some kills on FBZ maybe.
Yeah, that could open up opportunities for Mikoto to start applying more pressure on Talon's end. Still a fairly silent game despite that first blood. Mikado again just working onto the face, mutant or
top lane.
Hold on.
Jack boys.
Starting to get aggressive onto Jackie. Hyde jumping forward, does manage to secure that kill. Tim's not able to isolate, doesn't even have the value point in Spike Carapace, opting instead for the mana burn to harass. So nothing to stop Hyde when he does initiate in there.
A tiny bit greedy on Tim's to go for that, but it's not the biggest deal. Jack boys dies once, but it's fine. And yeah, overall, all the lanes looking pretty good for Talon right now. They got like, the first blood, the mid lane. Bomb is going okay, and top lane has just got another kill for themselves. So they're feeling themselves in game 2. You know, that Visa buff doesn't last forever.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't. Let's see if they can get even more. Static Link out onto Savage along with the Impale. Does cut them off, but here comes Hyde with a Starbreaker. Jackie starts to lose all of his HP. Does have a salve at the ready, so should be fairly well protected and will be able to heal up. No reflection available on Savage. So a lot of back and forth there. How's the bot lane going? KP holding steady up against FBZ. Level 5 on the Necrophos. We aren't seeing that aggression come down bot. Neither side really playing off the back of these sustainable off-lane heroes. Who does this kind of pacing favor though? Like KP is working towards an early Urn. FBZ, typical Timbersaw build-up, maybe going for that early Hood of Defiance to deal with the magic damage. Whose earlier timings are a bit scarier here?
These heroes like to snowball in the early game. I'd say the Timbersaw is the scarier one, though. If he gets a really good start, he can go make a lot more space. And Necrophos, you know, he's an ultimate based hero. When his ultimate's down, he can't make as much space as he'd like. Whereas we can see FBZ, like, you know, kill bottom, teleport top, still make a ton of space. Not the same thing with KP's Necrophos. So yeah, you're saying like they're both happy that they're getting the farm, but I think Boom Esports is definitely enjoying this a little bit more.
Again, this is something FBZ knows the ins and outs of very well. So a bit of a pause, immediately going back in here as, you know, just maybe some slight internet issues. We've been experiencing a couple of weird packet loss drops here as well. Doesn't affect the stream itself as they are trying to jump forward onto Skem. They spot out the creep, dispose out. That will have the stun in a bit, but not quite enough to save that inch. Mikado just instantly pops that Invis, maybe looking for that opportunity bot. No, we'll grab the bounty rune instead, fully topped up here. They do manage to get a little bit of a chase up top onto High, but the static link didn't last. Tim's didn't have the mana for the Impale. That could land them in trouble. Savage walking up. Metamorphosis in 1 second. Without any mana. Well, Tim's has enough for at least one spell now. Could still get aggressive, but again, just kind of slowing things down a bit. The mid lane has still kind of drawn a little bit even, and Yopaj has been recovering well in the jungle, so he's level 7 matching Mikoto. At what point do you expect either mid to maybe start making some moves around, or do you expect the supports to rotate back mid instead to get aggression going?
I feel like Mikoto might consider going bottom just to get that first Reaper Scythe kill on KP. But no, Yopaj is the one who's going to go bottom first.
TP down, does have the X combination. FBZ running down KP right now. Nothing to save. Will Ghost Shroud now with the stick usage, wand usage, but not enough to save. KP does get taken away. Up top, they are making moves though. And they do find Jackie, so that's an offlane for safe lane trade. With Talon's rotations, as Q finds more, gets the dispose out onto Tims. Tims does have the Spike Carapace, is stalling out. FBZ is here with the damage from the chains and whirling death, and they find Savage. So a bit too far out after that kill on Jackie. Hyde still not safe here either. FBZ looking for his former teammate, chops him down in tree line.
And yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Like the FBZ show, he's on. He's online. He can do what he wants. And I like this Enchanter's pick because you can remove the Ghost Shroud from the Necrophos. For some bot lane, he uses Ghost Shroud. You just enchant him, and that removes a lot of his healing. So this is kind of the problem with the Necro. Yeah, it's great that he's getting farm. It's much better than the first game, but you're still very inactive when your ultimate's down. Even when he has his ultimate, he hasn't been able to sort of make any space for the team.
Yeah, they haven't been able to play around that yet. This could be the opportunity onto Schem. Managed to get the Starbreaker, and a nice Reaper is out. Not the biggest target to cut down, but that is a stack up on KP at the least here.
Yeah, right. It's like you want to get going at some point, so good kill for them overall.
Yopaj surrounded here by the side of Talon, does manage to Tumbler's Toy down. Impale does land onto one. The boat's there to stall out as well. Yopaj still on the run. KP out with a slow and Ghost Shroud. Still keeping that chase. Damage coming through from Mikado, but it's so durable with a boat buff. Scam in to get that enchant slow off. Q rebound doesn't quite land. Now are forced to back off from that tier 1 as Jackie has shown up as well. Impale out onto Hyde. Gonna be able to find that kill. Static Link out onto Q as well. And FBZ comes and rip them apart. A 5-man rotation down bot, but nets them 2 nice support kills here.
In the meantime, 23 Savage is recovering here. The cores are surprisingly, both carries surprisingly low CS here. Jackboy's only at 30, and I think 23 Savage just hits 50 himself. So not really having the free farm. Both of them felt pretty pressured in this game. Of the two, though, I think that you'd rather be behind on a Terrorblade than you would on the Razor because he just farms faster.
Yeah, that farming pace is kicking into gear for Savage, with all the space created. He is working onto Dragonlance, into the Yasha, into the Scotty. So already set to build up here. No contestation coming onto Savage so far. That does provide room for Boom to shove in bot. FEZ getting that done himself with all the durability he has with level 2 reactive. And again, there's just no damage to do with that yet on Talon's end. So does get the first tower of the game here going for Boom. 5-5, less than 1k lead going Boom's way. Rather even game so far with all of these back and forth trades.
BKBs are going to come out on Yopaj. He's got queued up. And looks like Jackboys wants to go for it as well. We talked about sort of the magic damage from Talon, where it's a lot of their damage early on is just magic. And that BKB is going to do a lot against them. And of course, FBZ went for the hood himself. So might be some issues.
X marked up, boat out as well. Gonna be taken out. Mikado is there to help. The chain stunts are flying through. And Hyde is gonna be fed to the fishes here. So Yopaj finds another kill under his belt, accelerating that BKB you mentioned. So already set to have a great time. Number 1 in that word for Yopaj. And again, that BKB time is going to cause a lot of issues for Talon. They are still building up in Savage, but again, he's not quite taking the lead yet, as they are making plays mid. Mikado jumps in. Impale does miss on Tim's. Reaper's Sight, not quite enough damage from KP, but enough for Mikado to do his job. Jackie draining some decent damage output on the Razor, but it's already been done. Still, Yopaj rotating in with Schem, looking for more as FBC shows up as well. X out onto the Dawnbreaker. But there's the Solar Guardian to save. X onto KP, and FBZ, not the target he can burst. And just that Hood of Defiance makes that an untenable kill. But look at this clump up mid. Everyone's showing up mid. They want this mid tier 1 on Boom set.
Except
Scam walks up to Savage and just gets hammered down, alright?
Yep, I mean, but except for Q, who's still in the bottom lane. Looks like they're just pinging him out, but Scab a little aggressive there, making sure, checking what's going on. 23 Savage, he's got the Dragon Lance, he's building up to the Yasha as well, so his farm is very on par, like he is fine. Jackboy's on the other hand, really suffering here. He's only got, I think, the Ogre Axe, trying to build a BKB. He's got what, Power Treads and Magic Wand, that's basically it. So even when the BKB comes out, I think he's still gonna struggle. He doesn't have the levels or the items to sort of really fight. Like, Jackboys can just go meta, make a couple illusions, and just beat him down to death.
They've got that damage coming through on Savage once he is ready to participate in these engagements. Boom, though, taking a forward position down bot, just trying to get that build-up onto Jackie. At what point do you feel like Boom should start rolling? We've seen the strong start from FVZ, but Talon's solution seems to just ignore that Timbersaw. Like, is there a timing discrepancy with these lineups? Do you expect Boom might start to taper off a little bit faster here?
Once the Opaj has the BKB, then we'll see what they can do. You know, like, oh, bomb lane. Looks like, yeah, Mako just rolls out, no problem. Yeah, once the Opaj gets the BKB, I think that's going to be the timing for Boom Esports. Because it doesn't feel like Jackboys is going to have the impact you want from the carry this game. That's just the unfortunate part. It feels like it's going to be Opaj's job to carry them in this game, as the next word kind of indicates.
Yeah, feels like it's going to be the Conquer show here on out for the side of Boom. And there's still further itemization for the Razor. It just feels like the timings are a little bit off. But as it stalls out, I guess, you know, refresh is going to be nice, I suppose. If you can find a farm, double BKB, double static is one way to get things done. And we'll see if Jackie will reach that point. He is one of those players that can find farm in the toughest spots. Although he is still suffering, but no, he's not too far behind Mikado. So all things considered, you're not in the worst position for Boom here as they maintain a slight network lead. They have both slowing down here though, so both teams kind of looking for room to recover.
Yeah, in terms of looking at the items, KP, he's got the Spirit Vessels. Going to go for Yules just so he can dodge that boat if you're being X-marked. So it helps a little bit. KP though, he needs to be careful. He might walk into the whole of Boom Esports here. And just goes back to the tower. And FBZ, Makoto takes the illusion right in front of him. That's kind of important because you can use it to dodge some spells when you trigger it, which is nice. I always like that change. I felt like illusioners were so trash before that, but now they give you that free sort of dispel.
Yeah, it's been really impactful since then. Opportunity for Boom to shove in mid with FBZ taking point. And Mikado though does come back in, gets a nice route off onto Tims, but not going for the full commit. And X-Mark out onto KP. Solar Guardian is ready. Is that going to be enough? No, it stuns out from Tims. KP still going to be alive though, still trying to get some aggression forward. Q hammering away at Skem, and Savage runs in from the side. They find FBZ, they've got the damage, Reaper Sight as well. And they manage to take out that Timber Saw. They lose Q in the process. Still trying to get the chase. Great stun out from Tims, and a great torrent out from Yopaj, but Yopaj now in danger. Sleight of Fist ready, Chains ready, and Yopaj is gone. So 2-for-1 going in Talon's favor. Opportunity for the mid push. Fortify is out, but you've still got a lot of time in that Metamorphosis for Savage.
That was, I mean, they trade only Q for 2 cores, Yopaj and FBZ, and they take the tower as well, keep their own alive. So very good fight for Talon just now. And Jackboys again, he can't join them. Whereas Savage, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll just come in. I'm a ranged hero that they can't really touch. I got my illusions. So comes out. I don't know how much damage did he do actually. He did the most damage in that fight.
And they managed to find Skem straggling long down bot as well. Talon starting to hit those peaks now with Mikado just taking point for the team, being that highly mobile hero. And this kind of comes back to a point you made in the draft, Automo. For this Ember Spirit, I mean, the Conka is there with EX, but for your supports, the only real play you have is with Tims right now.
And it's not really like a completely reliable play. You know, maybe you can walk in when he's flame guarding. Maybe you can try to get with him when he's using Sleight of Fist, but it's still tough. You know, it's still, you really gotta be in the right position to catch this Ember Spirit. So Mikoto, he's been playing it well, and once he gets BKB,
Q dispose on Tims, tree cut as well. Vendetta is used up. Chains out onto 2 for Mikado. Still a good impale coming through. Is it going to be enough? Mikado starting to drop a little bit low, but hammers out from Hyde, smashing down on Tims. KP doesn't quite have the Reaper's Sight. They are starting to slowly chip away at Skem, and the healing doesn't matter much when the Spirit Vessel's up and running. FBZ isolated in the middle, but they don't have Savage for the physical output. It's not going to be able to handle that Timbersaw, but 2-for-0, finding the supports here on Talon's end. And then Talon is starting to control this map a little bit more, Automo. 12-7, 3K lead up.
Yeah, we always talk about Nyx being kind of a bad hero, and we thought, oh well, we said if he might counter the Dawnbreaker, but Dawnbreaker is just a support, which means that, are you really gonna be happy that you countered one of the enemy supports? So this is turning pretty awkward for Boom Esports. The BKB, I believe it's on the way for Jackboys, which is gonna help, but all that physical damage coming out from from 23 Savage will probably be killing the Razor, no problem. So what they could do is maybe they could find some pickoffs with Yopaj, and they need to give Jackboy more time to farm. He's still lowest of the cores in terms of net worth.
Yeah, but again, he's keeping up with Mikado. It just shows you how much more the Ember can do with less farm than the Razor, or equal farm than the Razor. He still has that play opportunity. Clumping up around bot, watching Mikado. Not going to be able to really run in. In fact, it's Q who finds him. Solar Guardian out. Should be able to find Scam as they hammer away. Now Jackie's exposed. Chains are on cooldown. Does pop the BKB. Tims is around to try and help Vendetta out. Impale onto 2. They are dropping KP awfully low, but not low enough. Boat is coming through. It's Reaper's sight out onto Tim's. KP dropping low. Disposed to save from Q. And they do manage to drag him out. Jackie still falls to Mikado's output. And here comes Savage with the damage coming through from that Terrorblade. FBZ is really tanky now, and KP is dead. Gets chipped away by FBZ, but Savage still going, should find Yopaj and does. FBZ trying to play tag, is going to try for TP.
Chains.
No chains, and not enough damage on Savage. A 3-for-3 trade, but they lose Jackie, they lose Yopaj and Boomsend.
Did they kill Scam? They killed Scam early, so I believe it's a 3-for-4 trade in favor of Talon, and they were able to get another Reaper Scythe stack on them. So overall, and that was not the way you want to use BKB if you were on Boom Esports. The first BKB of the Raze, the 9-second one, you can't use it to run away. Then they're like, we used it. Let's try and force a fight. Didn't quite go well for them. And now it's 23 Savage. He is entering Giga Chad mode. You know, he is 3,000 gold ahead of FBZ, more than 4,000 gold ahead of Jackboy. And how are you gonna deal with this guy? Once he gets BKB on him, there's nothing that can go through him.
They catch out Q, but Skem still dropping low. Again, Spirit Vessel ruining that Enchantress. Static Link out onto KP, but not for long. Only 36 damage taken away. X-Torrent onto Hyde. Are they really gonna go for this play? Impale does connect. So they get the Whirling Death out as well. Managed to get that kill with the Chakram. Savage show chipping away at FBZ. Spirit Vessel out onto the Timber Saw as well. X to stall out. And it should cut off the aggression. So a 1-for-1. Pawns 5 for Pawns 5 coming out here. But we're seeing a big difference in this game too here, Automo. KP has, despite that slower start in the laning phase, you know, maybe a little bit more equal start, KP is having a lot of impact now with his Spirit Vessel.
Yes, I mean, he's just been much more comfortable, playing much more comfortably on the Necrophos, and this is gonna come back to a little bit of the Timbersaw. You pick Timbersaw, great snowballing hero. FBZ is top of net worth for, like, you know, second highest, top of his team, but hero does kind of fall off a little bit and provides you with no control, which seems like it's the SBZ special. He's going in, he's doing a lot of damage, but who's going to be actually controlling the enemy's team? Is it really going to come down to just Tim's on the next assassin?
Feels like that. I mean, you see Tim's itemizing to get a little bit more control in these fights, going for the blink. They do manage to stun up Mikado, but KP still coming in with the TP. Reaper side at the ready. Tim's going to be a nice juicy target to get another charge, and he's just melting away. Still need to find a kill, and Q gets the rebound off instead. I mean, he's been on a roll, Q, with his Marcy, right?
Yeah.
With the blink up, he's been making a lot of plays, but they've more charges on KP here.
He took his Reaper side, dude. These supports, in my days, the supports had boots and maybe a magic stick if they were lucky.
Looking for more. Is he really gonna go for dispose? Jackie does hold him off. Enchant is there. Impetus damage was huge. Did have the stick charges there. Max damage from max range, but just holds off the aggression out from Talon. And they've been buying Savage so much room. Like this terribly. Scotty up, Yasha up, BKB next. It feels like we're seeing the same issues from game 1 that Talon had to deal with. Now Boom has to contend with. Do they have enough to handle a BKB Terrorblade with a Scotty up?
No. Like, they're gonna have to find some way to get him to use it and then, like, escape, which not too bad. Like, you have a Timbersaw, maybe Timbersaw can jump in, force him to BKB, and then you can start the fight once the BKB is over. But if you're going 5-on-5 and he uses BKB and you think you're gonna win a fight, you're not if you're Boom. Like, Talon to start off, they lose Scam as well.
Another little kill on the Ench, but it's getting tough for Boom, right? Like, what angles do you see Boom can take here? I mean, we're seeing Yopaj itemize for what seems to be the Hex. Is that the way to go? Hex and Ags on the Kunkka?
They recognize they have a lot of control issues. Although, this could be
Hyde. Strike out onto Hyde. They managed to get him along with a boat, but Savage is around with the damage. Boat buff is keeping FBZ alive for a lot longer. Reaper Sight doesn't do much at all, but to get the chance to good timing. FBZ still being held behind. Savage just focusing that output, pops a BKB, and they find that big mean Timbersaw. Jackie now, BKB static link out, just doesn't do enough, and Mikado is on the chase. Finds Skem, beat down from Q with a toss back on the dispose, and Boom, 3-for-1. They toss so much just to find Hyde.
There's like I said, there's just no way they can beat 23 Savage in a fair fight. You know, you gotta get the BKB out of the way. They were able to burst down Hyde early, but who cares? And right, that's a freebie.
Q. But here comes KP, no Reaper's Sight, but is holding them back. Reflection out along with Ghost Shroud slow. Tim's will fall. Yopaj still has that BKB to escape, still has the X boat, and does slow out the Roshan, but Talon not going to overextend here. That does take away Metamorphosis, so not enough time to go for the Rosh. DD is sitting bot, but boom. I mean, they're tossing out so much that it's back to what you said earlier, Automo. That control is biting them here.
I was thinking maybe that we might see Kunkka go for the Agons. He does have it queued up after. I like that choice a lot because you do need some stuns on your team. I don't know if the Hex is going to be enough. And we go back to the draft and we talk about the weakness of Razor. Razor does not like illusion heroes because you just make illusions that deal as much damage as you and they suffer hide. Might be a sacrificial lamp here.
Pops the smoke. That was a 4-man smoke out from Boom. Only find hide once more. And just both of those moves, it's always hide or finding. It just doesn't feel like that big kill you want on Boom right now. It does still allow that acceleration for Yopaj, right? Like the Hex and Ags. And even Jackie is only the recipe away from his full refresh. So at the least you'll have more BKB and more static link to deal with here. That
I don't know
could
if it'll
be
matter.
something good.
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? Like we just saw 23 Savage, like you said, he gave him a beatdown. He's like, you think you could guarantee? He took 122 damage, it didn't matter. So I don't feel like an extra BKB is gonna help. It's nice, but the problem is that it's like more like an armor thing. They need to get armor on the Razor because well, 40 armor is nothing.
Yeah, they got Savage with a little bit of an X torrent in the Chakram, but not confident enough to jump that terribly with 3.3 KHP. Still going for it. Dispose out again from Q with a blink onto Yopaj. Nice impale onto 2. Mikado still pops a BKB on the run. Metamorphosis still off cooldown. There it was, coming out along with a Solar Guardian and Reaper's Sight, and they find that kill. Mikado ping-ponging around, looking for Yopaj. Has a chance, gets him lucky with the creeps, and they find another 2 for 0, taking out the 2 tanky heroes up front. And with the fresh Metamorphosis, this could be the Roshan for Talon opening up.
And I thought that this, like, one team is going to run away with this game. This series is in for a rude awakening. These two teams are very even. Game 1, Boom Esports looks really strong. Game 2, Talon fighting back incredibly well here. And this looks like it's going to be the Aegis for 23 Savage. Boom! I don't know what their window is to come back into this, unfortunately. Yes, the refresher is going to come out Razor, and I like that he's got this plate mail because we said he needs armor. Maybe with the plate mail he can take a fight.
Yeah, it does at least provide a little bit more durability out with that itemization, but so far we're just not feeling them last long enough. But if they do get the boat out, it does feel like that's Boom's opening, right? Get the boat onto your 3 cores, and suddenly this game is
alive.
Extremely, these fights are extremely stalled out for Talon, which they had issues with game 1 as well with Skem's healing. So I think maybe that's what we have to look for from Boom. You've got the blink up on Tim's. Like, at this point, you know, you look at this Enchantress as well from Scam. He's going Dragonlance. Maybe the idea now is to get more itemization on that Ench, you know, as we saw Q do before in the DPC.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think that's too bad of an idea. They realize, listen, maybe we're gonna have to switch carries. 23 Savage, can you buy the Sentries? And we'll have the Scam just go all in for the Dragonlance, try and do some damage. It is pure damage with the Impetus. It doesn't care about Terrablaze armor. It could make a big difference for them. Mikado, it's like he's gonna be out, even though they can't see him. So I like that. I don't know if it's a pretty bad situation to be in when your supports have to make damage, but at least Boom is adjusting and they're not rolling over.
Yeah, they are trying to get that done. Dragonlance should be available for Scam if he wants to buy out. The side of Talon starting to play in that top jungle, and Boom also avoiding the playing bot. Creep wave is coming in, so a tier 2 for Talon to take once more. Looks like a tier 2 trade down bot as well. So Boom should have an avenue to at least take that opposite jungle. Although Mikado is diving in. He manages to count out Jackie. A beautiful route onto 2. Solar Guardian is blocked off, but they find the 2 kills they need. KP with a Reaper Sight off as well. And now Tims can't do much, as Q is just going in like a madman with that blink. Chasing down FBZ. He doesn't even have backup here, Q. He's still going.
It's like, guys, watch this. You just help me out when you can. A little lucky for them that Jack Boys decide not to use the BKB. That's a pretty big opening. He does not have buyback, and 23 Savage, he's just gonna go for the base. At this point, you're kind of thinking this could be 1 racks, 2 racks as well. But if you go top, Boom Esports, very tough situation to be in right now.
Yeah, they don't have that hold. And how are you feeling about the high ground defense of Boom? Do they have enough, even with their full 5-man, to hold off this push? I
mean, the best thing they have is what? The Timber Saw throwing out Chakrams? That's not exactly incredible. Yopaj, if he can go and get a Tidebringer hit, that's great, but there's a chance, he stays a little bit too long. He has to export himself, and it looks like it's going to be 2 easy Raxes for them. By the time Jackboy is up, this meal Rax should be down.
Yeah. Still chipping away, but the TP defense coming in. It's nice blink out. Earth Spike onto one.
Nice Sunder.
Nice Sunder out from Savage to us. They are clumping around. They can't find Mikado. He manages to get away with great dispose from Q. Yopaj trying to TP away. Is taken out. Savage still has that Aegis. Doesn't care to lose his first life. Is melted down by FBZ. And they lose Mikado as well. Boom finding some kills on. But the dispose again from Q, forcing the buyback onto Tims. They're still dancing around. KP's starting to drop really low. Gets the Yulesoft to hold FBZ back. Not quite healed up here though. Trying to find more. Skem does get the Ghost Seeker onto him. And Q's looking to hammer in. Does get stunned up. And Q is going to be putting Impale Impetus. Yeah, enough damage on the rebound out. Mikado with the tip going a bit ham, but he does get some good saves, and they do force at least one buyback out. They get the melee racks as well, and Boom has some fight left in them here, Optimal.
Still a huge win for Talon, though. Like, you were able to get the mid racks, you got the board racks to the top side as well, so it's not like they're worried. I'm kind of wondering if maybe Q would, if he had used the smoke, if he was far enough that it would have dodged the impetus, but didn't matter in the end. And Skem. Well, I'll miss you, buddy. Yeah, or maybe he'll live.
Stalling out, he was broken, but the break is gone. Savage now forced to TP out in a dire situation. No stun from Tims. Very fortunate he bails out KP on the cliff side. Should be able to TP as well. Solar Guardian just to dodge. And do manage to escape on Townsend, cutting the losses. A bit of an awkward topsy-turvy fight, but they don't lose much. They do manage to, just reset and boom. They're playing at a 16k deficit here, Otimo. What's the game plan? Because we have the Hex on Yopaj. What else do we have to wait out for?
Let's see. Do they have... Well, and they also got the plate mill on the Razor, which is going to help them out with the physical damage. Smoke comes out from Talon. If you are Boom, you want to try and get a pick off here.
No, they find it.
Jumping in.
Breakout, just not that durable on that Timber Saw at this point in the game. 30 minutes in, and Mikado, he's got the X, he's dancing around. He finds the Yopaj, doesn't get the chains in time. Just not quick enough on the zip back. So Boom cut their losses, 31 to 16. Double damage for Mikado to pick up. Tim's not going to play tag there. So more output.
And there's a DD ruin Mikado. He's the one who puts it in his spot. We'll see if you can share that with the the Terrorblade. Mikado is going in for Skem.
Going for Skem, getting some damage off. Does have KP around with Spirit Vessel and Reaper Sight just to get that kill. 6 stacks up on KP. 24 HP regen and 12 mana regen. Seems pretty good.
Seems very balanced, isn't it? I was surprised that we see that Necrophos got popular, whereas Axe with the bonus armor, people are like, yeah, we don't really care about that. Looks like Skem does buyback, recognizes, yeah, we gotta defend the bottom lane. FBZ has buyback as well, but it's in an awkward time where it's like, I could kind of hold on to it, but I might have to use it.
Dispose again
Skem.
from Q onto Skem. Instant dieback on the Ench. And it's not stopping that push. Great impale out though. Refresh BKB used up. Static Link fully on Savage. Not looking through this. Does have a Sunder opportunity if you want to, and still turns around. Sunder onto KP. Full health once more onto Savage. Losing a lot of damage, but they're jumping in. Ridpack's alive. Cutting through the backline from Mikado. Another dispose out, and the GG's called by Boom. Talon brings something out of the bag. Maybe inspired by Boom with the opening, but it does work out for them in this game number 2 here, Optimal.
Yeah, I mean, that Wraith Pack at the end, we actually saw Strength to Savage go down. Pretty low HP. Maybe if that Wraith Pack wasn't around, the extra damage, the damage that was reduced, you could have had that. Might have made a difference for you. But in the end, overall, Talon, great swap, putting K